Hey, what's up, everybody? Isaiah Alonso here with the Nick Alonso Real Estate Group. And today is episode 3 of the Nick Alonso Real Estate Podcast. I've got a very special guest with us today, Trayvon Taylor. I like to refer to him as the King of Solar. Any question that you have for him, he's going to be able to answer it. So, my brother.
So I appreciate that.
Oh, yeah, of course, bro. Thanks for coming on, man. Hey, just to let the audience know, him and his girl drove all the way from Stockton today, 55-minute drive. So, lunch is on me after this, my brother.
Appreciate that.
Yep,
Maybe some mimosas or something.
Hey, that sounds good to me. Shoot, hey, get some little orange juice mimosas. So, let's just start off by tell me a little bit about yourself, your story, and how your story led to you being a solar rep.
Yeah, so it's actually pretty interesting. I'm obviously from Stockton, I've grown up, raised there.
Yep.
I was born in Hayward, but, I spent most of my life in Stockton, as most people are from the Bay Area. It's a lot more affordable in Stockton. So my family kind of migrated there. And I was a gamer growing up, so I played Xbox. I actually had a friend that plays Xbox that was like, hey, what are you doing for work right now? Now, mind you, my whole background in the job industry has always been sales. When I came to SAC, I did Cutco. When I left SAC, I did this company called Crosscheck, which was a check guarantee.
Okay.
So I'm over here calling people 200 calls a day, business to business. It's ridiculous. I'd rather knock on doors any day over that. Like calling people back to back, it was ridiculous. But I was making a little decent income, and it introduced a professional standpoint for my career from selling knives. And then after that, I did the mattress industry, which was really cool. 10-hour shifts, terrible. But people walking in though, laying on beds until they walk in, easy commission. And then that was when I was like, okay, I can actually produce my own income as far as income, right? And so I had a friend that I played Xbox with maybe like 5-10 years ago. He hit me up, yo, what are you doing for work? And I was like, oh, I'm selling mattresses right now. He was like, okay, so how much are you making? And I was like, 3-5 grand, 6 on a really good month if it's like Labor Day sale or whatnot. He was like, okay, well, what if you could do that weekly? And I said, weekly? Because mind you, my mind was going to expand on what my financial gain could be.
Yep.
But I wasn't really thinking that because I never had nobody to come show me like, hey, you can make $100,000. Like, I'm thinking you got to be a CEO to make that, right? Especially with no college degree. I didn't think that was possible because I wasn't exposed to that. So when I had him tell me, I can make that 3-5 grand I'm making monthly, but weekly, that just entered a whole new environment on what I thought was possible. And mind you, I met this guy from Xbox, right? So it's just like,
that's crazy.
I haven't talked to him in 2-3 years. He randomly hits me up and I'm just like, okay, so what are the details about it? He says, well, look up a company called Lumio. That was the old solar company I used to work with. And I look it up. I go on Indeed. I can't find it. So I'm like, oh man, I'm out of luck. And I just didn't give up on it because he sent me a check stub, a pay stub a week later. It's about $12,000 in a 1 week period. I'm like, yo, that'll take me 3, maybe 4 months to make that. And you just did that at 1 week at the age of, 24, I think he was. I'm like, you keep that up. That's well over 6 figures. So I give it another shot. I'm looking it up. And then I see one in Houston, Texas. So I'm like, do I have to move to Texas to do this? But I don't let that hold me back because I'm making 3 grand. I can make 12 grand in half amount of time. So why don't I go ahead and do that? So I tell my job that I have COVID, right? I tell them that I have
That's a good excuse right there.
Right. And the only reason why I did it is because I was willing to take that risk, but I still needed to get paid just in case it didn't work out. But I didn't have the intention that it wasn't going to work out because if you got a plan B, then plan A isn't going to work. So I quit. But before I quit, I obviously told them I have COVID. So I get paid for 2 weeks. So I moved to Texas with all my savings. I sold my car. I literally just kind of gave up everything and just moved to Texas. Applied that day, got hired. And then I met at this guy's house. And I didn't know how legit it was. I didn't even understand what a panel was or even how it worked or nothing like that.
Yep.
All I knew was the income possibilities, right? I was in it for the money. I'm not gonna lie.
Yes, sir.
I was in it for the money. And so my first day shadowing, we went out to a neighborhood. I'm thinking we're gonna go to like an office building, like maybe dial in or whatnot. But no, it was on turf on the doors. And so he was like, we're going to turf. I had no idea what that meant. Like, we're going to a football field? Like, what do you mean we're going on turf?
So you'll start doing some up downs or something, huh?
Pretty much going up and down the block. Sure.
Hey, heck yeah.
So we were doing that. And after maybe about 10 conversations, knocking on doors, having good responses, I was thinking, I could do this, right? He was like, oh, are you sure? Because the turnover rate is more so shadow for 3 days. And then on your 4th day, see how you like it and you do it yourself. But after a few conversations, I was like, I think I can do this. Because mind you, I come from the sales industry. It just seemed, we're just talking to people. Right? And he made it seem like we're not selling them on the doors. We're just setting up an appointment to get the opportunity to introduce something that they could potentially buy. Right?
Yes, sir.
So I go to the next guy, knocking on the next door, and I'm just like, hey, my name's Trayvon. I work with so-and-so. What are you guys paying for with electricity? Didn't have a script. It's just more so like asking.
Yep.
He was like, oh, we're paying about $50-$60 because electricity out there is ridiculously low, right?
That's crazy.
It's
The heck?
compared to out here.
Yeah.
I mean, nobody's paying less than $300. And if
Bro.
they say they are, they're
Yeah.
not. So in Texas, it's multiple utility companies. So out
Mhm.
here, it's strictly PG&E unless you live in San Diego Electric, or
Yeah.
Sacramento, it's like SMUD. But overall, it's just one company. But over there, every 3-6 months, you can call different companies to get different rate plans for electricity. So they would say, oh, it's simply low. And if it goes higher, then I can call another company and get it reduced.
Okay.
So I was like, okay, but if you do that, why go through the hassle of calling another company, dealing with the rate increases when you can just go solar and have it fixed?
That's real.
Right. So I said, do you call your broker or, the realtor that got you the house for different interest rates? Or do you guys sign up for one and it's fixed for the long term of you being here? And he was like, well, yeah, it's fixed.
Mhm.
And then I was just thinking of a bunch of different analogies because I'm the analogy king.
Yes, sir.
You call me the solar king.
I see you.
I'm the analogy king.
Yep.
Right? So one thing I realized in the mattress industry was people are coming in. They're coming in because they had a problem that their mattress sent them here, right?
Right.
So when they're getting ready to leave, I'd be like, well, what sent you here, right? And they tell me their mattress. So when referring to solar and going solar, when they would tell me not interested, well, I'd say, well, why'd you open the door? They're like, well, because you knocked on it. Okay, yeah, I knocked on it, but the only reason why you chose your electricity company is because that's all you thought that you had. When you bought this house, you had options. When you bought your car, you had options. Now going back to your car is fixed, right?
Yeah.
Or is next month your car no different? No, it's fixed.
That's real. Yeah.
It's fixed, right? So why is it that you use your electricity? It isn't fixed. Is that fair?
Right.
And they'd be like,
Bro.
oh, it's not.
That's a good way to put it.
Mhm.
Woo. Oh my gosh. Okay.
Right. So just getting into that and then just making them seem like, hey, no pressure, a little pullback here. It might not even make sense for you, right? Like I just set up 5, people, a couple of your neighbors, Joe, John, and Smith. They really wanted to look into this, but it might not make sense for them. And it might not make sense for you, right?
Right.
9 times out of 10 it is.
Yep.
And I just got to take that away from them. So they make it seem like, okay, well, what do I need to do to get qualified? What does he have that I don't, right? So just that initial appointment introduction and making it seem like, hey, I'm a friendly guy. I'm here to help you, but I don't know if I can.
Right.
And a lot of people, they always tell me, well, I'm not interested, right? When I'm knocking on the door. And I just tell them, like, I'm not looking for a checkbook. I don't even know if I can help you. Or I only got a minute anyways, right? Because at the end of the day, we really only have 3 to 5 seconds to, buy more time. And as we're buying more time, I really don't even talk about solar for the first couple of minutes now that I'm more experienced.
Right.
I'm more so like, oh, like, is that dog trying to bite me or bark at me? You know what I mean?
Yep, that's good.
Just
That's
makes
good.
me forget why I'm even there.
Bro,
right?
that's real. Woo.
And just setting that appointment, making it seem like it makes sense. And then the closer comes, or the specialist comes back.
Yes, sir. Okay.
And then just handles the business. So
that's amazing, bro.
yeah. So solar, I never anticipated getting into it. I seen it all the time, but I didn't know how it worked. Like it's on Bank of America. It's on my middle school. It's over high schools.
Okay.
But I just never really understood how it worked until
That's real.
I got into it myself.
Bro, that's amazing, bro.
Yeah.
And I think it's so dope the fact that you moved to Houston just to pursue that career, bro. Like just based off of a conversation on Xbox, like that's sick. Like who does that? Like you're a G, bro. You're a G for that. And so I guess my follow-up question to what you were saying right now, just about your story, is like, obviously there's solar in California. What was your thought process in like thinking like, man, why don't I just move to Houston, right? When you could have just done it here in Cali, like, just.
So that's what I think about every single time. Right?
Okay, yeah.
I had no idea that I could do solar in California.
Oh, okay.
He gave me a specific company,
right.
So I was looking for that company, and that company popped up in Texas.
Okay.
But I believe that everything happens for a reason.
That's
because me going to Texas allowed me to end up going to Florida.
Yeah.
And I have markets of experience under my belt compared to people that strictly only work in California. So now that I'm back in California, I can say, hey, there's people in Texas that are paying low bills and they're glad that they got solar because they have a fixed bill.
That's good.
Whereas you could have done this a long time ago when it was booming, but
that's real.
You missed the train.
Yeah.
So if I could go back, I would have, done it here in California. But knowing what I know now, I mean, it is what it is.
Yep. And everything, like you said, bro, everything does happen for a reason. Like, who knows? Maybe if you would have started it out here, you wouldn't have had the mentorship that you did out there,
right.
And so that's pretty awesome, bro. So just to get on to the next question, solar, as a solar rep, are you self-employed, like 1099? Like, is that?
Yeah, so
Yeah, okay.
we are 1099, which means that we don't get no benefits.
Whew, okay.
Which would have came in handy because
Yeah.
actually I broke my back in like October. Yeah.
This October?
Yeah,
What?
like 6 months ago. Yeah.
Bro.
I was we got a lot of deals. Our
Yeah.
team won for the week, so we had a little pool party.
Yeah.
And me being the solo I am, I tried to do a little backflip.
Rough.
Fell into the pool on the side of it, and I was out of work for a couple of weeks. So that's another downfall, you know, being 1099.
Yeah.
If I'm not working, then that means I'm not getting paid.
That's
it's
real.
not like I can call out and use sick time.
Yeah.
You know, I'm on boss.
That's real.
So it has its pros and cons.
Yeah.
Pros being, you know, you make your own schedule.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't got to work holidays. You don't got to work weekends.
That's real.
But the cons are if you don't work the holidays, you don't work the weekends, then you don't get paid.
You don't get paid. And that's what I tell people about real estate all the time, bro. Like, they're like, bro, it's super dope. You get to create your own schedule. You get to, you know, like you're your own boss, this and that. And I'm like, man, that is true. But if I'm not working on Thanksgiving or if I'm not working on, you know, Valentine's Day or whatever, I'm not getting paid, you know? And a lot of times, like, I'm sure it's similar in solar. Like, if you're not consistently like able to show your client a home, a lot of times they're going to be like, man, well, if you're not available, I'm going to find somebody that is, right? And so you know, just by simply like taking a couple of days off, you can actually lose $5,000, $10,000, $15,000, you know?
I've seen that.
Yeah.
There's been many times where I was going to knock a door, but I judged. Like, I might see a hubcap off the tire. Oh, they rent.
Okay.
Come back a week later, they got panels on the roof.
No,
you know what I mean? So one thing I learned is you can't judge, for sure.
That's real.
And you need to be persistent because, like, there's been times where the homeowner said, oh, I'm eating dinner. Can you come back? And then I go to a different neighborhood to get more leads. And then I went, oh, they told me to come back. I come back. And then, oh, we already got another solar. Because especially with summer approaching, I mean, I'm going to be in a neighborhood. There's probably going to be 3 other guys in the same neighborhood.
That's real.
So it's like, it's got to be better than everybody else.
It's a shark world.
Yes, it is. And you know, I feel like I'm one of the rare solar reps that when I see another solar rep, like I encourage them. But it's the solar reps though, they're dog eat dog out there.
I bet, bro. I bet. And so just going like off of what we were just talking about, what made you move back from Houston out here? How long? Well, actually, first off, how long were you in Houston? How did that go for you? And then when did you come out here and what made you come back out here?
So I was in Houston for 9 months.
Okay.
It was great. Sales were going good.
Yeah. Installs
were like within a week, which is crazy, like the industry unheard of. And then my manager at the time was like, yo, like, let's go do a blitz in Florida. I'm like, I've never been in Florida. I'm with the vibes, you know, we go to the beach. It was awesome. Until it wasn't because installs started taking 3-4 months. So imagine getting paid within a week to getting paid within 60 to 90 days.
Yeah.
And it just got to a point where, you know, bills are catching up and, you know, I was making so much money that I just thought that money wasn't limited. So financially, I wasn't responsible. So the money I was getting, I was spending because I was like, I could just go knock a door and make it back. Right. But with me knocking the doors and not making it back, it kind of caught up to me. So I was just like, you know, let me make the, you know, financial responsible decision, go back to my hometown, reset, which ended up working out well because they pay more out here. So
hey, let's go.
So I took all the experience, like you said, the internship out there and brought it out here. And, you know, this new company I'm working with now, they see me that I'm so young and they're like, how do you know all this that you know? They have me running trainings and it's just it's crazy. They've been in the industry way longer than I have, but you know, they're conformed to their environment. They know what they know, you know, and since I've got to meet people like, you know, Andy Elliott or Bill O'Donnell, the goats of the solar industry, it's like, I learned a lot.
Okay.
I wouldn't have met being here in California.
Bro, that's amazing, bro. Would you say you were more successful in Houston than you were in Cali, or kind of what are your numbers looking like in Houston compared to here? And do you find more people getting solar here since it's a little bit higher, you know, in price, or the electric bills are a little bit higher in price, or do you feel like a lot of people are getting it in Houston as well?
No, that's a great question. Okay. I would say it makes more sense to go solar in California, but it was easier to get solar in Texas.
That's weird.
Yeah.
And why do you think that is?
It was new.
Okay.
So people are they have FOMO, right? It's like they see people going solar. Yep. These new developments are being built and, you know, I'm on that. They're seeing them going solar. So just like the Jones effect, they see Jones get it and now they want it.
That's real.
But in California, it's kind of been here for so long, more so comfortable than what they're already doing. They're like, I'm paying PG&E. Yeah, it's getting ridiculous, but I mean, it ain't hurt until it does.
Until it does. That's real.
So they haven't had somebody like me to come portray that, it's not putting no money back into your pocket.
Right.
Why spend $500 a month, $6,000 a year when you can spend half of that?
Right. Okay.
With no initial investment.
Okay. Bro, that's awesome, bro. Okay. So next question, where do you see yourself going in solar in the next 5 years? Like, do you see yourself continuing this and becoming one of those goats of the solar industry? Or do you see yourself one day branching out to maybe doing something else entrepreneurial?
I for sure don't see myself door knocking
Okay.
maybe within the next 2-3 years.
Okay.
Don't get me wrong, I love it. But I just, that heat gets to you.
Whew.
Being down in Florida, getting rained on every single day. It's just not something I want to do. But I do plan on like taking the capital and, I thought about making my own, brokerage with my solar.
Ooh.
But, I think I more so just want to get into real estate and build a clientele so deep to where it's like, okay, I know how solar works, so I can sell homes along with solar. So that's,
okay. Hey, well, you're welcome to come over here and join the Nick Alonzo, bro.
I just have to.
Hey, heck yeah, bro. 100%. Awesome, bro. So I kind of want to move on to like some of the most common questions that homeowners have when it comes to buying solar, right? Because it's
tons of misconceptions.
I bet. And so the first question I'm gonna ask is, why would a homeowner want to buy solar panels? What are the biggest benefits and what are the biggest downsides?
Mm-hmm. So the reason why they would want to buy it is because it's way more affordable than whatever electricity provider they're using.
Okay.
Reason being is because it fluctuates, right? So it's like every single month, depending on what you use, is what they're going to charge you. And unfortunately, with the wars going on and stuff like that, it's making the natural gas prices go up, and we have no control over that. So we're putting all our resources over there rather than, ourselves. So when you go solar, you're at a fixed bill. So you're able to budget financially better. Because, unfortunately, a lot of people are on a fixed income, but their bills aren't fixed. So,
right, okay.
You don't got to buy it. There's government programs to where you can get qualified for it, which takes nothing but maybe a $600 credit score and a good roof. And that's really all it takes.
Wow, that's pretty dang awesome. Okay. And then what would you say is most beneficial for the homeowner, purchasing or leasing the panels?
I would 100% say leasing.
Okay.
But it's funny because people in Texas, I want to own it. They love taking out them loans and owning it and affecting their debt to income ratio no matter what you tell them.
Okay.
But, if you plan on being there forever, like you're going to pass it down to your granddaughter, then I would suggest owning it because, eventually you're going to pay off the system and won't have to owe no more.
Right.
But unfortunately with owning it, since you own it, you're liable to everything. So with leasing it, we cover all the warranties down.
Really?
The solar, the roof, all the way down to the infrastructure.
Wow, I didn't even know that.
Force majeure, do you know what that is?
What is it?
Force majeure.
I don't.
So it's a Latin word that means any act of nature by God.
Okay.
So like let it be like a windstorm, tornado, earthquake. If any of that happens, we'll be able to cover it.
Bro, what the heck? That's amazing. Yeah. And how long do these how long is the time frame on these leases? Like leases to purchases, does it like vary just on who's buying it or who's leasing it? But or is it like, is there like common like a 30-year fixed mortgage but like a 20-year solar lease or solar purchase? How does that usually work?
So the cool thing about it, whichever route you go, it's always going to be 25 years.
Oh, okay.
Own it, lease it, it's 25 years.
Wow, okay.
Yeah.
Wow, that's amazing. Okay.
300 months.
Okay. Yes, sir. Hey, my boy's a beast. He knows. He knows. All right. So on to the next. How will the cost of panels offset the cost of your electric bill?
So the goal is 100%, right?
Okay.
To me, it defeats the purpose of going solar if you're still going to have an electric bill. Okay. So sometimes it is 90%, which is still good because, I like to tell homeowners and another analogy. Yeah. If you can fill up your gas tank at 70% for $2 a gallon and then the other 30% for $4 a gallon, that $2 a gallon offsets having to pay the full tank for $4.
That's real. That's hella real.
Right?
Yep.
So it's like, you're going to have two bills in that sense, but having two bills is better than having that one big PG&E bill. Wow. Okay. But our goal is to make sure that it's 100%.
Okay. Bro, yes, sir. Yes, sir. Next question. Sorry, bro. I'm just hitting you with all these questions. My grandma, actually, she just got solar up in Nevada. Okay. So I was like, Grandma, hey, like hit me with all the questions that you had so I can ask my boy Trey here, what are the most common questions, right? Next question, do I get a tax incentive at the end of the year?
So that's the cool thing about owning the system.
Okay.
Is you do get a tax credit, but this is why people should be going solar because that tax credit was 33%. Now it's 25%. So if your system is $100,000, you used to get $33,000, now you get $25,000, which is an $8,000 differential. Okay. Right? But here's what a lot of solar reps that don't tell you, which I feel like kind of just ruins the game, right? that tax credit, you're actually supposed to put back into the system. But it kind of defeats like, okay, it's not really a tax incentive.
Yeah.
But if you don't put it back into the system, if, for example, if you're 1099 and you owe money to your taxes, it's going to actually, you know, defeat that, what you would typically have to pay out of pocket.
Okay.
It's just going to minimize it. But it will make your electric bill go up higher.
Okay. Man, that's some knowledge right here, bro. I'm learning a lot right now.
But like for those huge financial gurus,
yeah,
the best thing that I would advise is own your system, get the tax credit, put that in investment, let it compound, and then
maybe some real estate.
Right. And then take that money out and then put it back into your system. And then the money that you generated, a few little profits, then that's like free money essentially.
Okay, bro. Let's go, man. That's amazing. Amazing advice. So, how long does it typically take to install? I know that you were saying that it used to be like a week installation and then it came down to like 3 months, 4 months. How long right now is the typical time that it takes to install the panels?
So when you say install, are like the guys getting out there, how long it takes to drill?
Yeah, like basically from the time you decide, hey, let's do it, I want solar, how long, what's the time frame in which that solar is going to be up and running and ready to go?
Okay. Yeah. So I'd say conservatively, no more than 50 days.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's not bad.
And then the installation itself should, you know, we'll be there at 8 a.m. and be gone by noon. But we're trying to move it. We actually have a lot of people that came from PG&E to do our operations. So the reason why I chose our company itself is because, for one, we're local. So we're able to do a lot more, cut down on the transportation fees. So the quickest one I've seen was probably about 25 days where, you know, contract, site survey, installation, and turned on, ready to go. 25 days.
And how does your process look once you've closed on like the solar? Are you like, congratulations to the homeowner? Do you maybe get them a gift or something? Or like, is it just like, you know, hey, congrats, good job?
So mine, which I actually learned from Michael O'Donnell. I do the congratulations when they get approved for the credit. Because a lot of people kind of just brush over that, like, all right, you approved for credit, all right, now go inside here. But that's when you're going to hear the objections, like, I need to think about it. But if you make it a big deal when they get approved for the credit, you're like, congratulations.
That's
like,
fire.
You just got to prove, like, this is huge. Like, you're going to start saving money. Like, you engrave that they're going to start saving money initially. It's like, okay, there is nothing to think about because I'm going to start saving money right now. So we kind of do that process, take a picture with them. I send them the picture. So if they think about canceling, they're going to have to see our picture.
Hey, that's sick. That's super sick.
Picture first. And then once the installation is like on the roof, I come out there before, you know, the workers are there. Just kind of greet them, just kind of sit out there for 30 minutes and watch them, and, you know, never really get them like gifts. I probably should. I feel like the gift I'm giving them is thousands of dollars.
That's real. That is real.
You know
That's a good way to put it.
And also like referrals all the time. I give them huge referrals.
Oh, that's amazing, bro. I would, it's funny you say that, like how you say you congratulate them when they get the credit, or when they get approved, because now that I think about it, in real estate, when our client gets the offer accepted, we're doing the same thing. We're like, hey, congratulations. The offer got accepted. We're super excited for you. We're going to get you in your dream home or in your investment home, whatever it is, right? And a lot of times what it does is, like you said, it gets them excited, gets them super hyped up. That way, because when you're making a big purchase like solar or buying a home or even buying a car, you're kind of in your own head about it, no matter who you are, no matter, you know, if you're making a whole bunch of money or, you know, even a little bit, right? You're in your own head. You're kind of talking yourself out of it, maybe talking yourself into it. So I really like that strategy, like just like of congratulating them as soon as they get it accepted, just because it's like, again,
it's all psychology.
It is. It really is, bro. And so that's a good way to put it, bro. It's really good, you know, really good sales strategy in a way, you know. So, and then other question, follow up to that is, how often are people canceling on you? Now that you say that, because I know in real estate, we've got to turn in what we call an earnest money deposit. It's 1% of the purchase price, right? Once you turn that in, then you're like kind of locked into contract. And the only way you can back out is through your inspection, appraisal, or loan, right? So with solar, let's say you get them approved, everything's looking good. And then all of a sudden they're like, Trey, I don't want the panels anymore. I thought about it, you know. How often does that happen?
So homeowners, they do have 10 days to cancel. Ever since I've been in California, thank God, you know, I don't have any cancellations.
Let's go. That's amazing.
I haven't had a cancel since I've been in Florida. To put it in perspective, maybe for every 10 deals, I get one cancel. So a really, really low cancellation rate. And it just really has a lot to do with competition. Right? So it's just like, you know, if we go in money hungry, put in the cash base at a lot higher to make sure we get a higher commission. They still save money, but, you know, they don't save as much as we could save them. And then another company comes in and saving them like, you know, $10 more a month. you know, they're probably going to go with that. But
Okay.
that's why now I'm more so on an approach of I help them, they'll help me. So
That's good. That's good.
I just go in at the lowest all the time. And
Fire.
some sales reps might be like, dude, like start high, go low. But if I go low, then they're going to appreciate that business.
Right.
And then the competitor comes in, they're like, oh, that's so low, I can't beat it. And then they're like, they go low, and then the homeowner's like, well, why don't you do that to begin with? So now they have more trust with me.
Okay, that's dope. And then on top of that, you're building a relationship with them. They're like, hey, Trey did this for me. I've got this friend that, you know, that wants to get solar, and, you know, now they're telling them, you know, now they're telling their friend about you and like what you did for them. So that's super dope, bro.
Exactly.
And then how do you prevent somebody from canceling? Like, I know sometimes it's inevitable, and sometimes people are just very, how do I put this? Very just indecisive, right? Like, and so like when they signed up, they were kind of indecisive already. So like, for example, for us, like one way I do it is just stay in contact, make them feel comfortable, because it's the biggest purchase of most people's life, right? So you know, you got to text them, call them, hey, is there any questions you have? Like, are you doing something similar to that? Like just follow up every day or maybe every 2 days, or what's your process on like making sure that, you know, they don't cancel?
I really don't have a process, but kind of like you said, you know, just building that initial relationship that it's so good that they feel like if they cancel, then they're going to like disrupt our relationship.
Or lose out on something, right?
Exactly. And like, I just give them so many incentives towards the end. Like, hey, once you get installed, I'll pay for the first 3 months of their solar bill. So it's like, if they cancel, then, you know, they're not going to get their bill paid for.
That's real.
I think they have that in their mind that,
that's good.
Man, I want to get my bill paid for, so they just don't cancel. And like, you know, I'm just likable. They're like, dang, I don't want to. A lot of folks, you know, they still think I'm in high school or whatnot.
Yeah, me too. Like, it's on my nerves, bro. I'm like, bro.
Because sometimes like I'm not on my backpack when I have my tablet in it, and they're like, oh, you just get out of school. I'm like, no, I just got my water bottle. And, you know, they'll be like, some people, especially the older folks, are like, oh, like I want to get you your sale, like your little first sale. Well, they have no idea I've been doing this.
You let them think it too. You'll let them think like, yeah, you know, like, okay.
I'm like, thank you. I just want to help you out. I'm like, yeah, I appreciate it. But little do they know. Yeah.
Little do they know you're a beast, bro. You're a David. Awesome, bro. And then another question that my grandma had told me to ask you was, how do you know if your property is suited for solar? And what I mean by that is, one of my family members recently got solar. The solar guy or whoever was installing it put it on the west side of the home where it wasn't receiving much sunlight. And it basically ended up like messing them over. So like, are there certain properties that just aren't suited for solar because maybe the sun doesn't hit the home, or would you say like, nah, he just messed up and he could have done it better?
He messed up big time.
Putting
the panels on the west side is a rookie move. Like even I know the sun goes around the southern hemisphere. So with that being said, you need to put the panels on the south side. Now, the only reason why I would think he would have done that is because the trees are probably on the south side. But whatever I would have done is cut the tree down and then put it on the south side.
That's real. Can you guys do that? Can you guys cut the tree down, like your company, or
so we hire like a contractor to come out there and do that.
Does the homeowner come out of pocket for that, or do you guys kind of just help them out with it?
So we'll put it in the contract. Like we'll make it an adder. But typically, you know, with us paying for their bill, it kind of like offsets them.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense, though. Okay, that's bro. I was curious about that. I was like, that's a good question.
And also,
thanks, Grandma.
Also roofing too. Like if they're asphalt shingles are on the ground, and you know we don't really want to touch that because we don't want to be liable. But we also do roofing.
Oh, do you? Okay. Yeah. And are you like, let's say the solar panels were to kind of mess up a certain part of the roof, are you guys going in there and remediating it for free, or are you maybe like charging them a deductible, or how does that work? You know, if a part of the roof got messed up
because of us.
Yeah, because of you, for some odd reason.
Then yeah, good thing those warranties are in place.
Okay, that's fire.
They'll be good to go.
Awesome, bro. Okay. All right. So, just for the viewers, had a little lisp right there. What are the biggest benefits of using your particular company for solar? And if there aren't many benefits for your company, like what's the biggest benefit for them to use you? I know you said you kind of make your commission as low as possible, but how's that working?
So with my company, I feel like if I chose the company when I could have chose many different companies, they should be more prone to choose me. Reason being is because for one, we're local, so it's going to cut down on a lot of transportation fees. You got companies like Sunrun, great company, but since they're like in Costco, they got a bunch of advertisements. They got to make up for those costs by putting it in the contract, which reflects on the homeowner. With us, since we're just all local, you know, we do the door knocking, so there really is no advertising besides, you know, ourselves. we're able to just give the homeowners a lower price point, which means more savings. And other than that, just choosing me is because, for one, I'm fully transparent. You know, I see I am a salesman, but I'm more so of a consultant, right?
There we go.
There's been many times where I can make a bunch of money off of the deal, but like it's not really going to benefit them. So I just won't do it. And, you know, God being the one that he is, he sees our heart.
That's real. That's real.
Sees our heart. So if I would have done that, then, you know, I could probably go on a dry spell for about a month.
Wow.
Right?
Yeah.
So it's like, for me, it's, you know, I'm faith-based. So
yep.
you know, I'm going to do good business.
Yes, sir. And that's what I love about Trey, guys. Like, he's a God-fearing man. I see this guy at church every Sunday. We both love Jesus, like, and, you know, live our life accordingly to what he's saying every single day, you know? So that's what I love about you, bro. Like, that's super sick, bro. And I was going to ask a question in regards to what we just were talking about. Oh yeah. So is there anything that you would tell the viewers right now? Like, hey, like, get solar. This is the reason why we can offer you this. Like, do you have any current incentives in your company right now that you guys are offering? Or what's your sales pitch to the viewers, you know, like before we wrap it up here?
Yeah, I mean, go solar. If you go solar and you hit me up within the next 30 days, I'll cover your first 6 months of solar, right? That's half of a year. And,
okay.
You know, what could you do with half of a year of savings that you would have typically paid to PG&E? Another reason, if you don't go solar with me, you better go solar with someone. Reason being is because PG&E is going to continue going up, or whatever electric provider that you're with, it's going to keep going up. There's no doubt about it. And how do I know that? Well, look at the last year. Look at the year before that. So history repeats itself. So knowing that, it's like, why not get ahead of the curve? Or with your neighbor going solar, PG&E just lost a customer. So now PG&E needs to make up for that customer that they just lost, which means your bill is now going to go up.
Wow.
Right?
That's a good way to put it, bro. Oh my gosh. Okay. And is there anything else that you wanted to cover? Maybe any other questions before I ask this last question?
I would say one main conception right now with solar is, you know, having your true up, which recently just began.
Oh, I was going to ask that actually. Forgot that.
So what a true up is, for those that don't know, is, you know, at the end of the year, you get this huge bill from PG&E that's like $500 to $1,000. Reason being is because when they initially went solar, they don't have enough panels to offset the energy that they need from PG&E or what they're producing in their home. So if you're a new homeowner out there and you're wondering why you got two bills, but you have solar, it's because on the new builds, they only put the minimum requirement that you need for solar. Right. So
my goodness,
you don't need to pay PG&E. You just need to get an add-on.
Okay.
Yeah, it's another solar bill, but those two solar bills are more than likely cheaper than that PG&E bill.
Wow. Still, even adding the extra panels on. Wow, that's crazy, bro. I had no idea. Awesome. And then just to wrap it up here, last question. Who are some of the people that you've met throughout the solar industry that have helped you, that have mentored you, that made you into the solar rep that you are today? Yeah.
For one, he's not big in the solar game, but he is the one that gave me the opportunity, that hired me in Texas. His name's Drew Donner. Stud. I mean, he came from New Jersey where, you know, they get knocked on 10 times a day. So it's like, imagine striving in that, how good he is. Bro. So he turned me into a beast, no doubt about it. He sold me that you need a persistence in this job, right? There's been a lot of people that I've seen come in and out, you know, expecting something results on the first day, let alone first week.
Yeah.
But he just goes to show that with the work you put in, you're going to get results.
Wow.
And then other than that, Andy Elliott, I went to an event in Arizona.
Yeah.
And I met guys like, you know, Taylor McCarthy, Sam Taggart, and Michael O'Donnell. Well, these guys are getting like 200-300 deals a year.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Woo.
And that's like a couple million. You know?
Yes, sir.
So
yes, sir.
Just meeting guys like that. Just knowing that, you know, the potential is out there. It's just for the work that you put in, good relationships that you build.
That's real.
You will get results.
Yeah, that's real. Oh, actually, I want to tell the viewers a super dope story, or a funny story. I was just telling my cousin before this. So Trey and I have each other on Instagram, right? And one of these days, or I think it was about a month or two ago, he posts on a story a picture of him and this guy sitting on ice chests. And he goes, bro, he put on a story. I sold this guy solar before he even got furniture. Like, we're sitting on ice chests. I'm about to use my commission check to buy this guy some furniture. So tell us a little bit about that story, bro. That's hilarious. And I actually want to hear a little bit about that, bro.
Yeah, no, I totally forgot about that.
Yeah, bro, that had me cracking up. I was like, bro.
So me personally, when I knock doors, I go door to door to door to door to door.
Yeah.
But with this new company, they actually have a different method, which I don't do, but I just happen to do it for that day.
Yeah.
So we go on Zillow and we look at new homeowners. So that way we're initially the first solar rep to come and talk to them.
Yeah.
So when they buy a home, we talk to them and make them feel like going solar is part of the new home buying process. You know, you get your water filter, you get your alarms, you get pest control, and now you gotta get solar. It just makes sense. It's part of the process. So he was the first guy on the list. I went in. He, had a truck outside, still unloading the little furniture that he had. He had nothing. He only had a bed and a 70-inch screen TV, a couple of coolers. And then I knock on his door. I'm talking to him and about going solar, and he's very receptive. But he comes from an apartment where electricity isn't that expensive because, you're in a smaller space.
Okay.
So he's going from $100 to $200. I'm letting him know that, hey, for the energy that you're using over there, it's going to be the same amount of energy, but with a higher rate, you're going to have to, make up for all the room that you have. So you're going to be paying double. And I built so much trust to where I just wasn't talking. Like, it's true. I've seen it firsthand. So he's like, okay, well, can you come back in a week? And this is the only thing about the solar game. I'm sure you know. I come back in a week. Can you come back in a week? Come back in a week. Can you come back in a week?
That's real.
So from the day I met him, I didn't get in his house to show him an appointment for another 45 days.
Oh my gosh.
Right.
Whew.
It says it takes about 8 to 12 touches essentially to, get a deal. And man, this guy was about 22.
Oh my gosh, bro.
I did not
That's actually crazy.
But sometimes it can be hard because you don't want to like irritate them or whatnot.
100%.
But I just knew in the back of my head that this guy's going to go solar regardless.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be the one to do it. Right. Because someone's going to get it.
Yeah.
So I put in all the work. So I'm going to be the one to get it.
Amen.
And so, I finally was just like, let me just get your number instead of me catching you at your house. And, you text me when it's the time to come.
Yeah.
Right. Because I built so much trust that I know that like when he's ready, he will text me.
Yeah.
Sure enough, he did. Right. And so he said, yeah, you can come over. I come over. I'm expecting some furniture now. It's been 47 days because I talked to him on the third day that he moved in, and then 45 days later.
Yeah.
So 47, 48 days. I'm boy still got no furniture. Probably didn't even have no food in the fridge.
Bro, yep.
So we go in. He has this, brick furnace.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, well, I guess we're just gonna sit there. He brings out a lawn chair and a cooler, and I'm like, okay, well, you sit on the lawn chair, and I'll sit on the cooler.
Yeah.
And he's like, nah, I'm an OG.
Yep.
All right, hey, it's your house, your rules.
Yep.
Whatever. So he sits on the cooler and showing them the design, the proposal.
Yeah.
I mean, I kid you not. He didn't want to look over nothing. He was just ready to do it because the trust was good.
Bro.
The trust was
That's
just
fire.
Yeah.
That's something my dad would do, bro.
Yeah.
But my cousin right here knows. My dad, bro, like he got coolers for chairs and like he'll keep it like that like all year if he didn't have like a wife or nothing. So
So I mean, it's been like you said, like 2 months since then. I mean, he probably still down furniture. Who knows? But I'm gonna help him out for sure.
Heck yeah.
I did help him out with his first 3 months.
Wow.
Paid for one already.
Bro, that's it.
And it just feels good, because unfortunately people are on a fixed income and they really are struggling sometimes.
Yeah.
So like when we can help out that little bit, I feel like that really goes a long way.
That's real, bro.
Yeah.
That's real. And then are you, just to wrap it up, I'm wrapping it up right now, but are you doing most of your sales in Stockton, or are you doing them like throughout the entire valley? Do you have certain days where you're in Stockton, certain days where you're in Lathrop, maybe Tracy? How does that look for you?
So yeah, I am strictly in Stockton.
Okay.
I can go to like Lathrop, Manteca, or Tracy, but honestly, I just built so much like rapport.
That's real.
In the area that I'm in right now that I'm just kind of sticking to it.
Okay.
But if we move, like right now, we're kind of thinking about moving to Tracy. Then I'll work in Tracy.
Okay. So and how is it door knocking? My bad to cut you off. How is it door knocking in Stockton? I know Stockton's got a bad rep. I do a lot of real estate in Stockton. I think it's not as bad as a lot of people say it is. But is it like when you're in certain neighborhoods, are you like, oh, I don't know, or do you like specify? Are you like strictly in the north side, or like are you going everywhere? South side, east side? Like
I knock near the police department.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
I'm just kidding. No, I thought that too. I was like, man, the only reason why I didn't want to knock in California is because I'm raised in California, so I know how it can be. It's Stockton specifically, right?
Yeah, El Stockton.
Top 10 most dangerous cities in America, leading like 10 years in a row, right?
That's crazy.
So it's just like, I thought it was going to be rough, but it's not.
Okay.
And I think so is because we have that mindset where it's like, okay, if it's going to be easy, then it's going to be easy. If it's going to be rough, then it's going to be rough, right? You're literally going to attract what you are thinking.
Right.
So I just went on the mindset where, solar just makes sense, allow these God, I pray every day before I go on the door.
That's good. Let's go.
God, allow these people to be receptive, just to have a comprehension. Give me the perseverance I need.
Wow.
Don't let one no just disrupt my mood. Just allow me just to be in a positive mindset and, bless those that need blessings.
Bro, I love that, bro. I love that. You don't find many people like doing that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So that's powerful.
It really helps. Like it really does. But me doing that, knocking in Stockton, of course you are going to have your rude folks, but the good really outweigh the bad.
That's good, bro.
So, I really try to avoid like the the fences around the house. Where,
Okay.
like beware dogs.
Yeah.
But them no soliciting signs, those are my favorite.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Because for one, people are intimidated by that, so they don't knock on those. And for two, I feel like if they bought the sign, then they'll buy the solar. You know
That's
what I mean?
real.
Yeah.
That's real. And one time I was door knocking, and I was in River Islands actually. Door knocking, everybody's super nice, super dope. And I door knocked a house that said no soliciting. So he opens the door. I'm talking to him, got my spiel going, and he points out the door at the sign that says no soliciting. And I'm like, oh, okay. Like, I guess, and he shuts the door. And I'm like, oh, man.
I bet he didn't even say nothing, huh? He was just
yep,
like,
he didn't even say nothing. He just said, close the door.
yeah.
Yeah, bro. So, hey, props to you, bro. But, hey, thank you so much for coming on, bro.
For sure.
I really enjoyed everything. I really enjoyed having you on, bro. That's a wrap.
Yeah.
Let's go.